how have you been during the pandemic, and how have you been keeping yourself occupied?
Well, I gotta say I've been good. I've been trying to make the most of it. I've been with family. I've been connected with myself, and it was actually split in half a little bit because we went back to film and finish the rest of the job we had. So my pandemic was really unique with 400 other individuals that can say that they worked on Selena the series in the middle of a global historic pandemic. So it was nice to have my pandemic experience split like that. So I got to have some downtime, really focus on home, on myself, and really focus on work and have the experience of coming back to work with COVID protocols, with masks and shields, and working with people after surviving a pandemic. So it was a really unique experience. So I'd like to say like I'm blessed. I'm good.
And when you were a kid, did you have a sense that you would be an entertainer, or do you know you were going to follow down in terms of this path?
I knew I was different. I didn't know what that meant by any means. Like I used singing to grieve the loss of a sibling of mine, and I just thought that that's what I was doing, just channeling that experience into artistry or singing, and singing the choir, singing with my middle school to high school, and then I thought I was gonna be a music teacher, and that was it. And then at UC Santa Barbara, my friend Loreli convinced me to go audition for the BFA program, and I was like, "No way! Those guys are like legends on campus. There's no way like I'm in that caliber or capable." And I got in, and after that, I still thought like I'm going to be an actor, but I didn't think of it like I'm going to be an actor in fame or I just thought I was either going to end up in LA and New York or in some regional place doing regional theater and just making a living off of acting and being okay with having I wanted to be the guy who was in everything but no one knew his name. And so it's just evolved. I just realized, okay, I'm comfortable in the arts. I told that to my orientation individual for college when I first got there to schedule my classes. And they're like, okay, great. Then we're going to give you music class to see if you're still interested in that major, acting class because you're comfortable, and then two requirements so that you feel on top of it. It's going to be a great intro to college. And little did I know that that was like what catapulted me to be an artist in my life for the rest of my life.
That's so awesome. I actually just graduated from NYU this year.
Ah,
Thank
congratulations!
you.
Huge.
So
Yes.
yeah, I totally feel you in terms of looking back at my college career and just like that being a pivotal moment for like my career and everything. So I love
Mm-hmm.
that you can attest to that as well in your own career.
Yeah, yeah. We don't know what we're gonna be. When we're asked what are you gonna be at when you're in second grade, you don't know. I thought I was gonna be a spy. like, you know, and then like you get asked again when you're in college, and if you don't really have that understanding, then you're just like, I have a year to figure out what I'm gonna do. And so it's really a lot of pressure, especially during this time.
Definitely,
Big, big, big.
I completely agree. Now let's talk about your big role in Selena. Congratulations on that. I was like looking at it and it was on the top 10 for Netflix. And I was just like, that's so amazing. Like, I grew up with this, and it's just so awesome to see that kind of be again in our culture and a newer culture, newer generation as well. How is it for you to see that the success?
I honestly, it's not the best thing here, but I'm just going, going, going. That the universe kind of like makes me like trip out, and I'm like, oh yeah, boom, oh yeah, wow, that's right. I am not just the bunny, the going, going, going bunny. This is a really big deal to stop and take a look at how far I've come, what I've done, who I'm doing it with, and it was really nice this morning. Actually, I got a DM from a fellow Latino actor on Netflix, and they told me, "Yo, Noemi, congratulations, leading Latina female on a Netflix show. That's really like I hope you take it in." And I was just like, "Whoa, I didn't really think about it like that. I was just thankful to be in a number one show. Thankful more so that it was Selena. Like that's been a huge part for me personally to experience for a role." but for him to say it in those terms, I was like, hold on, yeah, let me take a step back. Wow. And like those are the moments where I obviously definitely I had to put the phone down and put my head down, and I really took it in and meditated and was tripping. And it's beautiful, and it means so much to see Latino, journalists such as yourself or other Latino artists, little girls, everyone to really, tell me how this is really wonderful to have, a Latino Mexican American family as an example, and that we're on Netflix. So the whole world gets to have this picture of this hardworking, humble, successful family. So it's been a huge honor, and I take it in whenever I can. But it's definitely been busy where it keeps me focused. But I'm definitely grateful for these moments that you're giving me and my friend gave me to really take it in.
It's such a huge platform, and there's not that much representation on it as much as we would hope for or wish for.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
just can't reiterate that enough. Like, congratulations.
Thank you, Daisy.
You're
Thank you.
totally doing
Thank
amazing.
you.
And then in terms of just your own, I guess, exposure to Selena, how would you say that you first to know her and her music?
Sure thing. Was introduced to her by my mom. She was on top of all the trends, music, entertainment. And so we were watching her on Sábado Gigante, Siempre en Domingo, when she was more doing the traditional Central Mexico sounds, early Selena days that now you all really know
Right.
based off the series. Before we just knew her, I think, more so the 90s movie with her cumbia mainstream hits, or crossover hits.
Right.
And so it's really cool to have that experience with my mom. And I remember her handing me the Amor Prohibido album. And I just remember her screaming, like, Noemi, and I thought I broke something. And she's like, Selena está en la tele. And I'm like, oh, yeah, obviously running to go see Selena. And this was before, obviously, the movie. So it was wonderful to have my own experience with her and be in love with that movie, ingrained in my mind and my spirit. And then to now be a part of the series, it's been an incredible full circle. It's been incredible. It's beautiful.
And you brought up the movie, which was another point that I wanted to bring up. I think just with Netflix edition, or when you make something new again, there's always going to be criticism. There's always some people who love it. I'm curious to see what your thoughts on it are in terms of the comparisons and just kind of your own take on that.
You know, Psychologists say that the first version you listen to is the one that you tend to gravitate to most. For example, some people heard I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston, and that's their favorite. But you listen to I Will Always Love You by Dolly Parton, who was written and originated by, then you get a completely different experience. My take on it is, as a consumer, as an audience, we are filled in this kind of energy right now where we're quick to criticize.
Right.
It's great to go into something and have a clean slate about it so that you can really take it in and enjoy it. If you're quick to be negative, it's unfortunate, but more than likely you're going to miss all the beauty that's right there in the series. And each presentation has its blessings and its beauty. The movie was its epic version that I absolutely love and grew up with, so I have my connection with it. But now I have the series that is more intimate, that gets more into the details of the family and how everything came to be, as opposed to a jump from success in their story as musicians. So they each have their own wonderful things to offer. You just have to be able to take it in. I'm not surprised by anything. It's truly amazing to get this opportunity and just to watch the Selena fans, and especially to watch the new people being introduced to Selena, the new generation that we get to have that connection with.
Right, definitely. I mean, I
Hmm.
agree. I love the fact that it was more that the series as a whole was more humanizing of Selena and the person,
Yes.
not so much
Yeah.
the singer and the kind of icon that she is. So
Hmm.
I thought that was really beautifully done. So when you were kind of reading the script, is that something that caught your eye, the kind of humanization of Selena?
Oh, 1,000%. Not just the humanization of Selena, but the humanization of the entire family.
Right.
Because, when you mention Selena, you can't not talk about her family, or talk about the Dinos, or talk about Chris. So like it's just what is synonymous with Selena and her timeless music and the legend that she is. So it's really cool to take this moment to see again. This is not a documentary. It is a TV show based off of the real life events that happened. So it was really really cool to see that like for once I was seeing a, like you said, a humanized version of Selena as opposed to the presentation that is now caught forever, you know, on our YouTube channels and all the archives and her music videos. And
Right.
so, I mean, like that's amazing. But I'm always curious about the human spirit behind all that. So it's really fun that y'all got the beginning of her as a little girl first, you know,
Right.
and they're gonna get the rest of it part two.
Hey, so excited. And you play Suzette, which is she was actually an executive producer on the set. I'm curious about your interactions and just kind of did you feel that pressure with her being literally probably steps away from you acting?
No, she wasn't. She wasn't there due to
Oh,
COVID
okay.
times, due to 2020, you know, making us
Right.
adjust in a lot of ways. Um, but she's been wonderful. She's been so sweet. She was so generous, giving us a lot of material for us to prep. That was kind of the way that we worked it out, so that we can have that kind of time to shape our characters. And so we had that from her and AB, which was just so generous. And then got to talk with her when I first met her with Sadie and Christian and her and myself in a Zoom session. It was supposed to be 30 minutes. It turned into an hour and a half. And then now we like check up on each other a lot. It's really, really
Oh, I
sweet.
love
It's
that.
wonderful. It's so beautiful. Yeah, it's
That's so
incredible.
cool.
She's a sweetheart. I'm thankful that like that's part of her EP style. You know, that's her just being similar to Selena, super bubbly, super supportive. And I'm just so thankful and blessed definitely to have her as an EP.
Did you ever kind of nudge her and be like, hey, like how would you like play this? Or do you remember your emotions on this? Or just kind of look for it on your own acting? Did you ask her about that?
No, no, I haven't asked her about that necessarily just yet. Because honestly, it's just getting to know each other right now since we
Right,
didn't get the time to have that prep together. I
right.
think if and then also it's like it's in the can, and you know, it's really in the sacred space of what's on set and the interpretation we have from our scripts. And it's what I'm doing on the interpretation of our scripts, the prep that I've done, my own personal history, and then the director, you know, really navigating how we want these scenes to go. And so it's definitely a wonderful journey that I definitely wish that she could have been there and I could have asked these questions for sure. Like that I do. When I met her, I was like, oh, I really wish I had that with her. But if there's also a beauty in knowing that I did my best on my own and with my cast and crew, and that I hope that she and the world enjoys it.
And what was it about Suzette that really stood out to you and made you want to dive into her life and her character?
Her specifically, you just knowing several things, the iconic sisterhood that she represents, that supportive queen adjusting another queen's crown. People know that about her, you know, that she also had a lot to do with the development of Selena y los Dinos, you know, learning that she was in charge of publicity at a certain point, in charge of the budget at a certain point, merchandising. That ended up being that why she ended up becoming a CEO of Q Productions. And that was what was fascinating, was to see this dichotomy between, you know, her next to AB and Selena, who are musical geniuses, and her needing a little more time, falling in love with the drums, falling in love with music making, and then now she's leading the legacy as a boss woman. You know, like I think it's obvious that Selena and AB had the musical genius like that, and she's a boss on the drums too. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I definitely absolutely love her energy and love that I got to experience that through my own rendition. But the emotional intelligence of this girl who's just really curious. It's not that she's mad or angry. She's just, well, why? You know, like why I just so that I get, oh, okay. Like some people just can't be told haz esto y porque yo mando. Sometimes you have to be told like, well, why is that good for me? And then you're like, oh, I respect that. I'll be happy to do it. So
Yeah.
it was cool to see that version of a female, of a Latina with those qualities that is obviously really impressive, because look what she's doing now and where she's at. It's really cool to be the little seed in that journey.
Now, you did learn how to play the drums for this, right? What was that
Yes, I
like?
did. It was intimidating, it was challenging, it was humbling. I got to a good place with it, and I just have this bond with Selena's music that I never expected before. It's different. And it definitely taught me a lot about myself, like I haven't learned something new in a long time. And then to learn something new that is this extreme, this demanding, so foreign to me. It was really really a trip, but with the grace of God, with Selena's music to keep me positive and kind to myself on the journey, it was a real blessing to have that for my own personal character mindfulness for me, but also for Suzette's character. Because if I'm going through this at my age in this show with the pressure, of being on Netflix, telling this family story, sure, that's my own pressure, but what about her pressure as a little girl
Right.
next to these musical geniuses to bring bread and butter on the table? She told me, left-handed, but she's playing on a right-handed kit. So it's just insane, how much she went through to jam out and support her sister and the whole band and family. So it was a real blessing to have that journey as part of the character.
So I just have to ask, what is your favorite Selena song? I know that's probably an impossible question, but
It is. It's totally an impossible question. Now I have the challenge of what now when I think of it, it's like, okay, I don't just listen to it anymore. I play them now. So
right.
which one do I like to listen to and play to? Today, I go by day now. I'm gonna say I've been saying No Me Queda Más because it's just iconic and timeless. But today I'm really feeling Beady Beady Bom Bom because it's so fun. That used to be the top one. They like rotate top three.